first of all, thank you, Mike, for all your kind words, and certainly partnership with Our Best has been incredible for many, many years, and you remember those football games the way you want to.
I said no.
And thank you, Tim. But first, to give you a little bit of insight about what we're about and what we do, I'd like to show you a 2.5-minute video. I'm 63 years old, and contrary to popular belief amongst almost all the ladies in my office, this really is my natural hair color. I don't color it, so I try to put that word out there where I go. My mother and father are still living. They're 87 years old. They're God-fearing, patriotic Americans, and I'm just incredibly blessed to have had them in my life for this many years, and the influence that they've made on my life is absolutely incredible. My mother was teaching school in a small one-room country school when she was 16 years old. My father was on the school board, actually became president of the school board. He of course told everyone that's the only way he figured we could get through school is for him to be on the school board. I had a brother that's 2 years older, and then I have one that's 10 years younger. My father and my Uncle Aubrey, I think they were on like really close to 20 years that they never missed a game, a Fayetteville game of the Arkansas Razorback football team. And big sports fans, very supportive in our efforts with athletics. I remember my father went out and visited all the Granges and all the local entities to try to get a millage passed to get new athletic facilities in Berryville. I like to call it Mayberry. And was successful in doing that because we used to suit up in the gym before we beat Harrison, and then we would get on a bus and ride over to the fairgrounds. Well, the bleachers were about 30 yards behind the field because there was a racetrack, a horse track out between the field and there. So it was poor folks in poor ways, but we survived through it all. I started running a backhoe when I was 16 years old because my Uncle Aubrey and my father had one, and my uncle was a builder, and my father ended up at the post office, but on his days off, they would do projects with the backhoe. And so I started running at 16. I really didn't know what an impact that would have on my life at the time, but it was kind of interesting how what a difference that made. In 1969, I went to the Unemployment Security Office, or the Employment Security Office here in Fayetteville, and told them that I wasn't going to go back to college for a while, and I was looking for a job and that I could run a backhoe. So they told me a company in Springdale was looking for an operator, and so I went up and met Harold Gay and Morris Anthematin and a little company called ABC Plumbing. I'm surprised they hired me. I had always run Ford equipment, and they had a case. Everything was backwards, and like I said, I'm surprised they hired me or kept me for the first week or two. But anyway, they did, and that started my career in construction. I started an apprenticeship program in 1970, and to qualify then, had to drive one night a week down to Fort Smith, the community college there, and attend classes. Had a couple of great instructors in Lynn Bauman and Ez Andrews who had a passion for our trade, and I was immediately attracted to the science, the fluids, the pressures, volumes, and things that in process piping, steam, and just the way to draw things up and look at it from that perspective, and was very fortunate to have people who cared about our industry and a passion for doing what they did. Of course, it was an adventure just driving to Fort Smith on Old Highway 71 back in 1970, and then this was a 5-year apprenticeship. Part of the apprenticeship, we went 2 nights a week, and I was greatly, it made things a lot better when some other apprentices started up here and we could share our ride, and especially going 2 nights a week. Some of the early projects I worked on were Washington Plaza multifamily project out on the west side of town. You know, there's an interesting story there. As I was talking, as I was thinking about this for the last week or two, thought about, you know, all the water that's been under my bridge, and wondered what I would say. And then I thought, well, gee, you know, I've got so many things I could talk about. But I thought just a couple nights ago, in the early transition from Ford to Case backhoes, you know, golly, putting a good ditch bottom in makes it so much easier on the guys working there, and they don't have to do as much shovel work. But there was a gentleman that I worked with out at Washington Plaza, and anyway, we were on break one day, and he said something about the presidential inauguration. This was probably Nixon or something back in those days, but anyway, I kept kind of pressing him, and found out that he was invited to the inauguration because his name was Clarence Craft, and he was a Congressional Medal of Honor winner. And there he is working in my ditch, and you know, just an incredible man and his story, and I saw many articles on him before he passed away a couple years ago, and just some of those things that come to mind that are unique occurrences in your work history. But anyway, worked on Washington Plaza, the Sweatco building, the Kroger, which is 5-star, out across from Lewis Ford now, Bella Vista Concordia. Mostly we worked on commercial and multifamily projects then. In 1974, John and Vance Eldridge came in and purchased ABC.